I am joined today with Eric Muller, Coach E at Soul Experience running company. Finish that off. That's the one right behind him. I don't know if you're gonna read the whole thing. Since 2012, look at that. Now your shop has not been there since 2012. How long has your shop been there for? I should know.
January 2016.
Okay, I'm glad you knew that.
Yeah.
I thought I stumped you for a second.
No, but 2012 is as a coaching business.
Yes, I know. But I was just wondering how long the shop was there. I kind of know, but I kind of don't know that 2016 is the actual number. But hey, there we go. Okay, so barring all that useful information, today we are going to be talking about recovery. So you guys are running every day, or running and riding every day. That's good as well. Or maybe you're even riding every day.
Yeah.
However, you're doing something, continuous or something continuous. You guys are doing something every day, and your body might not be used to that, especially if you're doing running. It is pretty vigorous activity. Your body goes and experiences a lot of strain. And, something that I hadn't done, even though I was running consistently for years, was to run every day. And so there can definitely be some challenges with that. And we need to do some maintenance work on our recovery. And I know that the slogan for Soul Experience is run, race, recover. Let me know if I've got that right.
Yeah.
So, so obviously it's something that Soul Experience is well versed at, and it's something that we are going to chat about right now. So Coach E, take it away.
Hey. Okay, thanks, Steve. And thanks for that intro. And it's interesting talking about the dates and times of when we've been doing things, because if you're not recovering, you wouldn't be able to keep doing these things since 2012 or 2016 or whatever. That recovery component, I like to say with running, but it would apply to everything else, is that if you aren't recovering, you're not going to be able to improve. So I like to, when I'm coaching, I really look a lot at the patterns and the systems athletes have in place to be able to recover. Because if we can load them up, but if they're not recovering from it, we're not going to have success. So they can have a lot of difficulties sometimes really quickly. So this might be a new kind of area that athletes are looking at. Maybe they've always had kind of a healthy pattern of recovery, but you don't have time now to kind of be laxed about it. You got to be on it every day. So this is good. I'd like to run every day in May, the ride every day in May. Really kind of puts the spotlight on what you're doing, and maybe in it kind of might reveal what you haven't been doing, right? So this is really good. I know you guys have talked about before, and we'll talk about some more, is that getting ready to run. So having your body ready to head out the door, because often we're doing a lot of other things, or even if you run first thing in the morning, typically there's some things have to happen before you can enjoy your run. But then at the end of the run or the ride, what are you doing? Like, what's that look like? Sometimes we quickly kind of transition, like, okay, I've got an hour, so I'm going to run for 59 minutes. No, wait, I've got to have a shower. I'm going to run I do 4-minute showers, so I can run for 56 minutes, and then I'm on to the next thing, and that's great. Well, where's my recovery plan in that? So I try to schedule my workouts with enough warm up and cool down built into my 60 minutes, which I'm just saying 60 minutes, but it doesn't matter what it is. So I make sure I block that time out so I can have some recovery at the end. So I'm fortunate that my employer,
who is that guy?
really, really emphasizes healthy lifestyle. So I'm doing a lot of things on a regular basis. I'm standing up, I'm moving around, I don't sit too long, I don't stand too long. I can do some static stretches throughout the day. That's going to help me on a day-to-day basis, especially if I'm doing activities like we are in May every day. So I just keep that as a regular pattern. You can set all the watches now, most people have, are on your phone. Mine reminds me to drink. It reminds me to have water. It reminds me to move or to stretch. I can program those things in. Good reminders. Let's see. It feels like I'm going in a little bit of a roundabout way. Steve, can you back on track if necessary? But I don't want to I don't want to miss a couple things, but I want to ask you what your pattern is when you finish a hard workout, especially, but any run, what it is you do like in the first 10 to 60 minutes after a run.
Well, it really, I mean, it depends on the intensity of the run, but most of the time I've already I have a pretty flexible schedule. I mean, basically, if you are self-employed, you get to choose the 100 hours a week that you work. So it's it works quite well for me. Uh,
You
I
have to
usually
talk about
start
that. It doesn't sound right.
right. Uh, I definitely do recovery, but I also do what I would consider as like pre-covery before I start my run. So I kind of set myself up. I will start by doing a movement routine. So going through some controlled articulations, which is just a fancy word for joint circles, doing some maintenance work on my hip flexors, making sure that they're opened up. And it's recovery work from like basically sleeping or staying still or whatever happened the last day before I started this day. And sometimes I'm not recommending that everyone do this, but sometimes this takes longer than my run itself. So
Right.
that kind of starts me out. Sometimes I might spend 20, 30 minutes, sometimes more, depending. And that's my recovery from the previous
Ah,
day's work. And then I'll get into my run session. When I come back, I'll usually do like some foam rolling or some stretching just in the areas that are tight. Definitely, I want to keep moving. So when I finish my run, I don't just finish hard and then walk in the door, sit down, have breakfast, have a shower, whatever you might think to do, or go to work and sit down. Rather, I will have probably about a kilometer of walking. Often, if you look at my Strava, I've got a number of dog walks on there. So I'll go for about a kilometer and a half dog walk right after I finish. And so it helps just get that blood continuing to flow. So if you've built up some of those toxins from having working at a threshold, whatever it might be, just helps getting that blood circulating and out of there. So you might otherwise have like really stiff limbs. You get up and you're like, oh, or you go to touch your toes and you can't. And I don't want that. I definitely experienced it before. So my routine often includes my pre-covery, so my warm-up, which can be quite extended, but it can be 5 minutes sometimes, depending on how much time I have, if I have other things to do. Getting into my run, spending about a kilometer just walking home, or a kilometer and a half dog walk. I actually walk my neighbor's dog, good deal for them. And then I'll get back and do a little bit more work. So it's really dependent on your schedule. For me, I've got a bit more flexibility. Like Eric was saying, my
right.
employer really
Yeah.
believes in active lifestyle, so affords me some liberties when it comes to doing that kind of stuff. So hopefully that's not necessarily realistic for most people to do. But definitely getting home and doing something to enhance your blood flow by jumping on a foam roller and just getting some of that stuff out of where it might reside. Otherwise, just
Exactly.
kind of pool in the legs, the lower legs, and hamstrings, stuff like that.
No, that's really good, and we should both be. I know you are very mindful of a lot of the people you coach. Um, have a different schedule, different lifestyle, right? Different
Yeah.
other things they got to look after. So everybody's got a long list, but it's relative to them, right? Like, so I know some of my friends tease me that how much time I could spend getting ready to run or my post-run stuff, which is fair enough, right? But I also kind of try to remind them that I kind of chose this, and there's a downside, but especially in this economic environment. But anyway, but let's realistically, like before this change in what everybody's experienced now, the different levels of stress. There's been, sorry, let me rephrase it. There's always been levels of stress, but like through this COVID-19 situation, our stress levels are different, and those are adding to running is stressful on us, right? So now we're kind of adding that emotional stress, or for whatever it is, whether it's our health or health of our family and our friends and the economic stress, and then we're adding running. It could seem like that's too much, but if we're looking after and looking at running as a way to help relieve that stress, and then add that recovery component so that you're actually good looking forward to the next run, not like, oh no, I said I was going to do this run every day and I don't know, this is too much. You're actually looking forward to the next day and the next day after that, right? So you want to run, you don't have to run, you get to run. But let's just stay on that idea about how much, because I was just said that I can just easily stretch on my own. A lot of people aren't able to do that. They're doing their kids' 9th grade math now on top of working from home. And where are they going to fit in extra stretching or rolling? Now they're working from home and they've got a history project due next week. So it's a weird time. And so I like to, in our house too, we try to be creative and finding ways to do things like together. So if one person's making dinner or the other person's doing some foam rolling, or maybe they're doing their workout in the home gym downstairs. And then we trade off. Okay, I'm cleaning up from dinner. And so, or someone else is cleaning up from dinner and I'm going to go do some foam rolling or some stretching on my own. So there are all those hours in the day are still there, just kind of how we're breaking them up. I know you joked about how many hours we're working, but we all do have the same number of hours, right? It's just how are we going to divide them up? I think it's really important that you put in there those times where you're looking after yourself, so you can keep looking, so you can keep helping your kids with their homework, and you want to help their kids with homework because you've looked after yourself and you're able to stay healthy and productive and positive. So there's a couple tools though, like you mentioned. So I'm waving at a runner that I think she wants to talk to me. My door is locked to the shop.
Do you want to just go take care of that, Eric?
Well, she's looking at her watch. I don't know if she has a question. Do you want me to come? I think she wants me to come out. Do you want to hit pause?
Yeah, I'll hit pause. All right, we're back. We're back on.
Okay, so I had a personal run program client at the door there who wanted to tell me about she's slowing down her running, and so because she's doing the run, she's doing Red May.
Awesome.
Yeah, so she needs to slow down, which is good. So she's showing me that she's slowing down. Anyway, my point was that if you're creative, and I like to say that everybody you share a fridge with is on board. There are ways you can incorporate stretching, rolling, get some cold water on the legs after a run, taking in a combination of carbohydrate and protein after a workout.
Sure, I didn't even talk about nutrition at all.
Yeah, well, that could be a whole other segment, right? Topic. For sure. Yeah, but I guess my point is, if you're on your own, you might have to be a little bit more disciplined to be like, you might not have that accountability. Well, Steve will check in on you, but you need to make sure you're doing these things on a regular basis. And so at our house, we talk about it a lot. And so we're making sure that our kids are doing things that will help them recover so they can continue on their activities. So we have things like this around the house. I really have difficulty with my feet. So I keep one of these, this is a stick, but like for rolling. I keep one when I read it. So you're talking about, you do cars in the morning, right? So do I.
Yep.
So what's the stand for again?
Controlled articular rotation. So basically just taking your joints around in nice, big, controlled circles. Yeah, working on that mobility, which is your control of active range.
Right. So which I learned at Envision Fitness. So now when my wife and I in the morning, so this morning is a good example, I'm looking after those while we're having a conversation before my morning run. And so we're talking about what we're going to do for the day and what needs to happen. And we do it while we're doing our cars. So she's going to go into the downstairs garage gym, and she's going to do workout. I'm taking the dog for his my warm up, his run, and then I bring the dog back, and then I do my workout. I'm going to have to answer the phone.
Go ahead and grab that. Eric, you were just talking about your routine where you'll do your cars, you'll go take your dog out for a walk, and then what happens after that?
Yes. Yeah, so I allow enough time to foam roll, to stretch through the day. But I need to be creative, and like, so everybody gets their exercise, and everybody nobody feels like there's not enough hours, because there are, but you got to be, maybe have a new regular way of discipline to make sure it gets done. And so I think it really helps to have everybody of the same, they have the same goals, but kind of understand that we're all trying to accomplish something. How can we help each other do this? So I think we're always better together, and we're doing something will help somebody else. I think that inspires us at the same time. So I feel great when my daughter says I'm going to go downstairs and do a workout. I mean, that really feels good as a parent. But it also feels good when someone else says, I've got the dishes. Have you gotten a run in today? That's pretty great too, right? So we're always.
You know what's funny about that is that often I will get up in the morning, and to start my movement, instead of doing at some point I'll do my mobility, but I'll actually start by unpacking and loading the dishwasher, that kind of stuff, just to get my basic movement down, or even folding the laundry, just simple stuff like that. It kind of kills two birds at one stone, one stone, because you get moving and you get something accomplished, and that saves you time for later where you have to do this chore. You can actually see it as something that you can integrate into part of your daily routine, as something that's getting you moving and getting you prepared for something a bit more vigorous.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's good. I like hearing other people's stories, like how they do things. I find that fascinating, especially like I talk to, my peers or my friends and stuff and family quite a bit about these things, but I'm really fascinated about what my children's friends or family, what they do, because I don't see them really. It's like, what are they doing? And my son, is a middle distance track athlete. So what happens in those families? Anyway, that's a whole other thing. That's fascinating what happens over there. But I wanted to get back to finding time to do things like this. I think I started to say, I was holding this up, that in the morning, I think I'm way slower to get moving. I like to say I'm a slow starter, fast finisher. That's pretty much in anything. So not also my running, but pretty much every part of my life. So even if I'm doing something creative, I'm slow to start it, but once I'm doing it, man, it's like catches fire, and I really like to finish strong. But so in my part of my morning routine is like a coffee. I like to read in the morning. So my favorite chair, in front of my favorite chair, is one of these, and I roll it with my bare foot to get my feet, the plantar fascia in the bottom of my foot, ready for distance running. So that's a regular. I've done that for I don't know how many months, so long time. Super important. So it gets kind of like that prehab, if you will. The other thing I want to touch on in terms of tools for PostRun that are simple to use and that we have here at the store, things like P3. I don't know if you mentioned it or not, but this is an all natural, it's a lotion, like it's a massage lotion. You can really work it in there in some tight spots, some sore spots, and it's got a lot of natural anti-inflammatories, and it's not harsh. Like it does have a nice mental, what's the word? Help me. Not minty. What's the other? It's minty.
Menthol? I don't know.
Menthol, right. Smells really
like
good.
Nice menthol. I'm like,
nice menthol. But it's not overpowering, right? Like you can go somewhere and not frighten people with the level of
like a rub 8535 or
but
icy hot Tiger Balm, something like that.
Yeah,
right?
You find something that works for sure. Another thing is compression socks for runners. So,
my favorite.
Yeah.
Socks again.
Yeah, the socks. They don't always have to be yellow. They can be.
They can be red. Hey, they could be green. I've got some options.
Or black.
Yeah.
So that's really good and easy to get on the rest of your day. Just you pull those on. Helps reduce the inflammation. It helps improve blood flow from the lower leg back up into your system. So that speeds up recovery. So those are easy things that you can don't take a lot of time that you can put into your regular routine for recovery.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, Eric, appreciate your time today.
Okay.
So thanks again for doing this, and I look forward
asking.
to next time that I get a chance to talk some tips.
Excellent.